Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Culture Cafe, episode one. It's one of your hosts, Ryu, and I'm here with my co-host Chandler.
Yep, that's me. I'm Chandler.
That's him. So, Chandler, if you want to give me a moment to get these sponsors out of the way, then we'll get right started. So, this week's episode is brought to you by Crystal Gravy. Crystal Gravy is a vegan, gluten free, homegrown gravy made from plants such as kale and watermelon. I know it sounds a little strange, but this gravy can go on everything, including pancakes and chips. It's called crystal gravy because it's crystal clear and thick as gravy. Uh, I myself think it's very delicious, it's nutritious, and it is homegrown. And another word from one of our sponsors, it is Pod Central. Pod Central is a company that manufactures and delivers all sorts of cleaning pods. You can have a vacuum cleaning pod, you can have a wash your clothes pod, and you can have a detergent pod. All sorts of pods, even pods that have seeds in them. So you throw the pod on the ground and you water it, and your plants will grow. Once again, this podcast is brought to you by Crystal Gravy. It's just that good. And Pod Central. If you need a central place for all your pods, then you know where the center is. All right.
How does pods work?
Well, I just told you that
Well,
it's a
yeah.
pod
You
for
said you told
everything.
you. Well, you told us that they work for everything, but how are they so universal? Is it like the technology that they
No,
use?
I
Is
don't.
it
I don't think
patented?
it's universal. There's different pods, different categories of
Oh, okay.
pods.
You gotta buy
Yeah.
different pods
Yep.
for
So,
different occasions. Got it. That
yep.
makes sense.
That's a word from our sponsors. So, without further ado, I'm your host again, Ryu. Uh, I've been watching anime for a few years. I'm a late bloomer. It's definitely a post high school once I started my career kind of thing. My favorite genre is really slice of life. Like I watch some action stuff, maybe some fantasy, but really my heart lies in slice of life. I just like watching the real shit, you know what I mean? The real life
The real
experiences.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you did really like that one that just came out. What was it called? Uh Fuck, what was the anime that you were talk raving about that I still haven't gotten around to watching? That you said was
Well,
just like it would make me remember my high school years and think about how I'm kind of wasting my life.
we'll get into that. But first, go ahead and introduce yourself, Chandler.
I am Chandler, and I've been watching anime since around my senior year of high school. Back then, I really enjoyed action romance. I don't know what was with it, but it had to have action and romance. Like not just action and not just romance. It had to be both. Nowadays, I really watch anything from uh, slice of life all the way up to just straight action and stuff like anywhere from Attack on Titan all the way down to Skilled Teaser Takian. Yeah, Skilled Teaser.
So, what do you think your favorite genre would be right now?
My favorite genre right now, probably action fantasy. If I had, I don't know. It's I recently I've really enjoyed um these super rich animations. So anything that's beautiful and has action scenes that makes me go wow, like Demon Slayer episode 18.
Episode
That
19.
shit. Episode 19.
Yeah.
That shit is what I live for.
Believe it or
I
not,
mean,
I just watched that tonight again.
again,
Yeah, so I bought a sound bar. We are not sponsored by, so I won't name their company, but I put up my sound bar. It has a movie theater mode, and it makes the house rumble. And I put on episode 19 just to see it in that high definition audio.
huh?
So,
You know what you should really get going on now that you've got the sound bar because you were
mhm.
you were raving to me like 2 days ago about how awesome the sound bar is and surround sound.
Yeah.
Um, Have you seen those setups where they have the lights, the dynamic lights that go along with the colors on the screen?
Yeah, I have seen some of those. I'd have to. That seems a little more, um,
In depth, yeah, but it
a
would
little
be
more intricate.
awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome. So, what have you been up to, Chandler? Regarding to the anime manga world.
Well, shit. I've been watching just about all of the major things.
Okay.
Um, I obviously, well, maybe not so obviously, but me and you have talked about it. I've dropped uh, the slime anime. What is it? I was reincarnated as a slime.
Mhm.
Uh, I dropped that like last season. I also haven't been watching. Surprisingly, Beastars, even though I loved the first season of it. I haven't been watching this second season. But other than that, all the major shit.
All right, all right. We'll get a little bit into
Oh,
this.
and a Promise Neverland. Haven't been
Okay.
watching that. Haven't been watching that.
We'll get into what's airing now that you mentioned it. Yeah, the slime. The slime one's kind of one of my disappointments because the manga was really good. I read into the manga. I got maybe 60 chapters deep, and it was really good, enjoyable read. And then the anime came out, and it just did not meet the standard. Like,
It did not deliver.
yeah, it did not deliver. They stretched it out so far, but it has such a big community, really popular.
My problem with it is it fell into the stereotypical tropes of a bad isekai, right? Where
Mhm.
no matter what, he's gonna get through whatever trouble is put in front of him,
Mhm.
and not in like a clever way. Like the way isekais get over that hump of
Mhm.
being like, oh, he's just obviously overpowered and just gonna get over it. Um, but the way isekais get over that is by being clever with
Mhm.
how they go about it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like if you this is just he eats it every single time. He's gonna whatever he comes up against, he's just gonna eat it.
Yeah. I see.
And then he's not okay. So also, if they would have continued forth with like, okay, so
Mhm.
you know how whenever he eats whatever,
Mhm.
it he gets the powers from whatever he eats,
Mhm.
right? If they would have emphasized and kept on going with that, right? So every single time he was in a new combat situation, you kind of got like, oh, he ate this last guy,
Mhm.
and then he used that thing, but he's not doing that anymore. Like it's almost like there's no point of him consuming anything,
Or being a
or I think it's
slime.
called devour. Yeah, devouring anything because he's not using any of the new talents that he's getting from the enemies that he consumes.
See, at the time of when the manga was coming out, I think it's still currently getting new chapters and everything, but what caught my attention where I thought like, wow, this is definitely something different was that compared to other isekais, like it was following a pattern in the manga that was completely different from what we've seen so far. Especially like what catches me is the deep moments, right? Like the world
Mm-hmm.
building, the character development, the stories, and one of the stories caught me was like with the girl with the mask, the fire girl, and everything. And all right, just preface this culture cafe will have its spoiler moments for any
If you're
series.
not caught up,
Yeah,
it's
if you're
gonna be
not caught up. But this was in the first season in anime, so I think we're kind of good to talk about it a little bit. So there's that
and also
girl, the fire sword. He devoured her, and it was a really deep, like not a wholesome, but it was like a damn kind of moment. You know what I mean? And it was really
mm-hmm.
those kind of moments that caught me, because in the manga it was really fucking like deep. It was like, oh shit, this is tugging my heartstrings a little bit. But in the anime, it just didn't execute it the same way.
Well, yeah, I didn't really. I mean, obviously, you know that I don't really read any manga. I've only read
Hmm.
one piece of literature in the anime franchise, and it was the light novels of Spice and Wolf.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorite series. But I was going to say you should probably also steer clear of anything in the manga. So if you're not caught up on if you're all the way caught up on the anime, you don't have to worry about spoilers at this podcast, because Ryu's not going to say anything about the anime. I mean the manga, because he
Yeah,
likes
and
to read ahead.
I just like to preface that if you're not reading the manga, like that's where the artist is actually creating like what he wants you to read, and like sometimes it goes off a light novel, so even in the manga, you're missing some of the details. But in the animes, like they're good, they tell you what you need to understand the story, but you're still missing out a huge amount of detail and like additional content, especially if you love the characters. Like for me, I'll watch something like Oreguru, my romantic comedy snafu. Like I love the characters, I love the world development, and I just needed that additional like I needed more, right? So that's where I had to turn to the manga. And I think somewhat you're doing yourself a disservice, Chandler, by not reading the manga. Like it's just more material. I love anime, and it's just like
now,
another medium. You know what I mean?
now we just talked about what I've really enjoyed as of recent, and that's just rich
Hmm.
animation. And I'm not gonna.
Hmm.
Are you telling me that in the manga,
Hmm.
I'm going to get the same quality animation as I would, like, let's say we were talking about the Fate series. Have you watched Fate Zero?
I've watched like a few episodes of it, and I kind of just fell off because just get
Bruh,
caught up
you're
in other
doing
things.
yourself a disservice. You gotta go watch that shit. It's good as fuck. But okay. What about let's say Demon Slayer. You read the manga and
Yeah.
you watched the anime. That fight scene. Are you telling me that you got the same emotions reading the manga as you did
So
watching that
that
scene?
one's not too fair because I watched the anime first, but for example, like Jujutsu Kaisen, I read the manga first, and then the anime like kind of caught up, and it's a whole different thing, right? Because the mangaka, right, the artist who's like leading the story, he draws what he wants you to see, the illustrations, right, and it's almost like a storyboard in a way. Because some parts in that fight scene where what's his name, Taru, I want to say.
Oh, Taru? Yeah, Taru.
The big dude
That's
and
the big buff dude.
yeah, the big buff dude and him, they're
Best
fighting the
friend.
fucking yeah, best friend. They're fighting like the wood demon, right?
Yeah, yeah, the nature demon.
The nature guy, yeah. So, in some ways, that fight scene was good in the animation, and it kind of lacked in some parts. And then in the manga, like some of those illustrations, you'll be surprised, man. Like it almost looks like you're looking at a picture from the anime. Like
Hmm.
they're pretty good, and sometimes you miss out on some details because in animation they're constrained to 22 minutes, right? They're 24 minutes max. So the manga gives so much more detail, and sometimes illustrations like they're not being drawn by random dudes who can't draw. They're being drawn by like skilled artists.
I suppose so. I don't know.
So it's not
I
like
don't
you're
know.
getting a double dip and you're like, oh, I already seen this. It's kind of like, whoa, I didn't know this character was thinking that, or I didn't know that this happened, or there's this relationship that I didn't get to see from some of my favorite characters. You know what I mean?
I suppose so. Yeah. Uh,
That's just me though. I get attached to characters, and I'm like, damn, dude, I really want to know what they were thinking here. Or I want to see what happens next. You know what I mean?
yeah, I get that. And I understand what you're saying with the whole you can't really get to know the inner details of a character unless you read the
Hmm.
manga because there's a lot of things that's left out. I understand that,
Like
but
yeah, you can't hear like every little thought because sometimes in one panel they'll include like every character's thought process or what they're thinking, and you don't get to get that most of the time in anime. So
hmm. All right.
that's where I'm leaning towards. But anyways, let's go straight into this week's ranking from r/anime. You have it pulled up?
R/anime. All right, let's see.
Let me see. I sent you the
Oh, the
PNG.
ranking?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
ranking.
you did. Yeah. Here, let me pull that shit up. Let me pull it up for y'all to be able to see. Let me. Boop.
Winter week 11.
There we go.
Hmm.
Okay, so what we got here?
So we'll start with number one, ReZero Starting Life in Another World Season 2.
Are you caught up?
I am caught up. I am caught up.
I'm caught up as well as of yesterday.
So
I watched the most recent episode.
before you say anything, if you're not caught up, you might want to skip ahead. It might have a timestamp on the screen if you for you to skip ahead just in case. All right. So I believe let me double check the list here. I think we just watched episode 11. Let me look at my list, my anime list. Currently watching. Was it ReZero? Yep, we. Oh, I have not updated my list. Jesus.
I haven't updated my list either. Here I get real quick.
What does it say in Crunchyroll episode run?
Yeah. Here, we are on. Where is it?
God, we're falling short here. Stand by,
Episode
everyone.
11.
Episode 11. We're on episode, so that means there's one more episode in this season, and this is the second core. This is part 2, so this might be it for another like year or two. So I believe in the last episodes, she awoke whoever was in that tomb. We might assume it's Ekidina, right? But
No. Because we saw Ekidana, in the tomb. Remember?
well, from what I've
And
seen from
we
conversations on Reddit, they're saying that her face hasn't been explicitly shown, so we can't really be sure of who it is. Like it looks like her, but they might be pulling a fast one on us. We don't know for sure though.
I don't think so. I think it's the okay. So you know the original girl that got
Hmm.
trapped in that got put in that crystal.
Hmm.
You remember?
Yeah.
And how is there was a whole scene about like how Betty was super distraught about
Hmm.
her sacrificing herself. I think she will come out of the crystal, and and then now that Betty is out and about, it'll be like a heartwarming reunion between the two of them. I think that's what they're probably gonna go for.
Hmm. So, if you're not too familiar with where ReZero is coming from, it's not a manga, it's a light novel, right? So that means it's like a book in a way for those who are not tracking what a light novel is. And
Everyone
some
watches this
some
stuff
people
knows.
some people don't. Some people
Anyone
don't.
that's sitting down and listening through an anime talk it knows the ins and outs of what's the anime culture.
Some people don't, man. So we got
Probably.
to preference a little bit. But anyways, right? So this last episode, we had a Ram's confession. She said she loves our asshole. Fucking like I don't like him. I don't like him at all. You know what I'm talking about?
You don't like what? Oh yeah, fucking the clown dude. What's his name?
Yeah, clown dude. That's how I remember him too. I don't know. I
uh
drawing blanks here.
yeah, she said she said that he loved him.
I
And
did not
because
see
of
that
that, he
coming. I did not see
yeah,
that
no,
coming.
well, I kind of saw it coming. But I didn't want to believe it, right? Because I was like,
Hmm.
surely not. Um, but I saw it coming around the time when she was talking to uh, uh what's the fucking name? The main girl. What's her name?
Amelia?
Amelia. Yeah, when she was talking to Amelia outside the cave
Hmm.
about like how she wanted to help him, or I've got to do something for him. I've got to do this for him to save him, right?
Hmm.
Around that time, I was like, wait, does she have the hots for fucking clown motherfucker?
There's not a single moment in my mind that crossed. Like, I did not think that at all at any point.
And then whenever she said it, it was just kind of like cringe because he said it straight up. He said it straight up. He was like, "I killed your entire clan,
Yeah.
your entire family. I fucking Sasuke'd your clan."
And then they want to be homies. Like or lovers. She wants to be lovers with them. So it's like, and we still have to remember
It,
that at this timeline, she doesn't remember who Rem is.
mm-hmm.
So,
I was thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Do you think
mhm.
part of the reason why she has feelings for him in this world now that Rim is gone, is because she has double the interaction with him because in this memory timeline,
Mhm.
everything has been her, right?
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I'm
you're on
saying?
to something because she
Yeah.
doesn't
So
remember her sister, so she doesn't have that like backup. You know what I mean? So she
she doesn't.
has
Yeah,
to
she doesn't.
rely on him.
Yeah, and it's only been her
Mhm.
and him in this memory line,
Yeah.
right? So that's why her feelings are heightened in this version of reality that's going on,
Mhm.
because right now Rim is out. And
Yeah.
that was what I was thinking. I don't know. I might just be grasping at straws here, but
Dude, yeah. I think you do make a valid point on that. But what did you think about the Garfield versus the woman who slits the stomachs? What did you think about
that shit was dope. It was one of the best fight scenes in ReZero so far, right?
Period.
Because
Yeah.
like we haven't had. I think the only fight scene that sticks out to me more than that is the very first fight scene with the assassin with the
Hmm.
giant troll. When
Hmm.
that's kind of how I got like hyped up for ReZero, is
Hmm.
when I saw that he was like each time he went back
Hmm.
to confront the assassin, he knew a little bit more about what was going to happen, and he was able to dodge just a little more each time, and I was
Hmm.
like, that's really awesome. So that was one of my with the better fight scenes in ReZero. And then
Hmm.
again we see another great fight scene with the assassin again, and this time Garfield. Now
Yeah.
what do you think's
Remember when
gonna
he
happen now
fucking
that they both eat tasted each other's blood and she's a vampire?
before we get into that, I thought it was remember when he fucking grabbed the hippo by the head and like threw it?
Oh yeah, he fucking ripped the fucking head off and then threw the fucking hippo onto her. Crush. Yeah, that shit was dope.
I thought her backstory was pretty deep though. Like it makes you sympathize with the enemy and you see them as a person too. I thought that was pretty deep because then when you start understanding your enemy, then it makes you question like, do I really want to engage and kill this person? You know what I mean? Because her story was pretty fucking deep, in my opinion.
Nah,
You didn't think so?
Garfield had the right reaction whenever he was like, "The fuck if I care? I'm gonna fucking kill you,
That
bitch."
shit was pretty funny. Yeah.
I like I had the same reaction as Garfield. I was
Mhm.
like, "I don't care about your fucking sob story."
I did think it was
Uh,
interesting character development because we really didn't know anything about her before, right? Besides, she just wants to open guts or was a vampire. So I did think that was
yeah,
pretty interesting.
I think it. I don't know. I still don't sympathize with her at all. Uh, I don't know.
Okay. This last episode, though, was the one with Betty.
It was with Betty, and that's kind of hype.
Yeah, I thought that was
Betty
pretty
Best
deep.
Girl? Question mark.
I was definitely having some Darling in the Franks flashbacks. Where
Okay.
remember when they're flying in the sky and she's just screaming Subaru's name, like she's
Oh
gonna.
yeah, yeah.
That's the same thing
It
that
just
happened to Darling in the Franks when they're flying around. She's like, you know what I mean?
whenever I was hearing it, I was like, I take my headset off. I was like, are they going around? No one can hear. This isn't out loud, right? So are they meaning for this to sound this way? Because it does. It sounds
Yeah, that
exactly the
it
way that you're
sounds
thinking.
explicit.
uh,
Yeah, but this was a solid episode. You know, Betty got some backstory. They formed that relationship. He said, "I'm not that guy, but I want to be with you." And
Which
I, yeah,
I think is good that he decided not to be that guy. Like he didn't take the
yeah,
easy way out and just basic that, because that would have been manipulation, really.
hmm.
If you think about it, it would just been manipulation if he did that. So
And
it's great that he found a way around it.
and
It
from
would have
our
been easy.
perspective, we're seeing all of Subaru's trials, tribulations, world lines. But to everybody else, like this dude's literally just on point, perfect every time. He's saying the right thing every time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally a god amongst men and the luckiest guy ever.
Well, this time around, he hasn't had many redos,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like the first time around, he fucked up with the Bettys. Yeah, he did have a chance at that, so he did get a second try, but it wasn't as
Mhm.
many as normal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So
Um.
I think we're pretty good there. I think what will happen next, I really don't know. They're gonna fight an army of bunnies. Amelia, Subaru, and Betty pop up. So I wonder how that's gonna go. If she's gonna be like, "What are you guys doing together?" I don't think she will,
Did
because she loves
did you
everyone. But
did you find it funny when I don't know, maybe I just have weird humor. Did you find it funny whenever they landed and Subaru was acting like it's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm here." But really, it's just Betty, right? Betty's the one that's gonna about to do all the work. But he was kind of acting like, "Oh, it's okay, I'm here now."
so I think it's important to note too. Our boy Subaru has not died in a long time, and
Hmm.
I've been in the back of my head while I'm watching. I'm like, is this it? Like, is he about to die? And where is he gonna go back to? You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like, how far back will it send him on his next death?
Oh. Oh no.
That's what I've been considering. And like, I don't
Bro, if
know.
he dies, oh my god, oh, if he gets everything like everything wrapped up in one like tidy bow, like he's done it and then just fucking dies from like something out of the blue and then he has to do it all over again. Oh my god.
All right, I have a prediction. I have a
I
prediction,
can't
right?
believe.
What if at the end of the next episode, right, everything's resolved, and then he just dies, and maybe that'll be a cliffhanger for season three, or it'll take him all the way back, and that'll be like season three. I don't know. I'm kind of done with this arc though. I'm done with the sanctuary.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get it. It's ran its course, and I'm ready to fucking move on to whatever's next.
Yeah. Anyways, next on the list is Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu
I've been
Kaisen.
I've been really enjoying this series, and I'm really
Mhm.
hoping it's exactly what everyone's saying it is like the next uh shoujo. I mean show.
Oh fuck! What are you
Sorry,
watching?
shonen.
Yeah,
Fucking sorry, I was watching a silent voice earlier, and
yeah.
his name's Shoujo. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, they're saying that it's the next shonen anime, and it's
Arguably,
going to
it
be
already is, because it's in Shonen Jump.
yeah, and like it's anything that's on Shonen Jump lasts a while.
Mainly, some do get dropped from Shonen Jump, believe it or not.
Huh. I mean, like even the executive at
Hmm.
Jump was saying that this was the next what did they compare it to? He said it's the next. He didn't say Naruto,
It's like Bleach.
did he? Oh, the next Bleach. Yeah.
So
So
the only thing about being the next like Shonen, this is running in a normal like anime interval, right? And things like
mhm.
Naruto, Boruto, they have an episode every week because that's just how much stack they got. You know what I mean? How much reputation and stack that they're running an episode a week. And Jujutsu Kaisen does not have a lot of manga. Believe it or not, does not have a lot of manga out. So if they make too many episodes at once, it's gonna run out. And now that they're doing this like season thing, I worry that too much spacing, it's gonna dry out and people are gonna forget and it's gonna die down.
Oh,
But
well, let's hope
this
that's not the case.
this new arc has the dude's little sister, right?
Is it his little or his big sister? I think it's his big sister.
Um, I don't know. I could
The
swear
You're
she's in
talking
high
about the
school.
edgy dude with the dogs,
Yeah,
the shadow
Tomozaki, I think.
dogs. Yeah,
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 he does the fucking hand signs like
yeah. The hand signs.
his Nindo
Yeah.
way.
I'm I'm pretty sure that's his big sister, just by the
Yeah,
way that she was talking to him
could be.
in the series. But yeah. We haven't really gotten much about her other than that she is hospitalized,
Hmm.
and that she is potentially in danger from this curse that's been killing everyone.
Hmm.
Um, what did we just watch? They went and investigated,
Yep.
uh, and ooh, he took down a S class. Is that how they classify them? Yeah,
Sure. Sure.
S class demon
Hmm.
all by himself using his new technique, which kind of was underwhelming in a way. I think I understand what
Yeah.
was going on. So he was able to split his entire body, right?
Mhm.
So his entire body was that shadow like fluid that went onto the ground, right?
Yeah.
And then he was able to pop up at any section, and also if he got attacked, that wasn't him because he could just be like, "Oh, that wasn't me. I'm over here."
Yeah,
Right? I think
shadow
that's
clone.
what's going on. Isn't yeah, isn't that yeah, isn't that what's going on?
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah. It was kind of underwhelming. I understood what
mhm.
was going on. It was just like I don't know.
So
I feel I feel
I
like
didn't.
I'm enjoying uh Itadori's fight better.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't really read past too much past the sister arc. What I think is gonna happen for the, because I maybe read one or two arcs forward, and I was just like, all right, I'm kind of bored. But I think they're probably gonna do movie release, because some of these other things, like, it doesn't really fit with the show. It doesn't follow the main characters, so I think they're gonna do some movies. But I don't know, because they only have
Or
like
some
one more episode or two more episodes to play with. So
or some what are they called? Uh
OVAs,
OVAs?
I doubt it.
OVAs? Yeah.
I doubt it.
Man, how is Slime all the way up in 3?
So Slime has a huge
People
following,
people
a
like this
huge,
shit?
like, it has a huge America following too. Like in
Let me
California,
let me note it down in the comments how much I'm pissing you off by saying how shit the slime fucking anime is.
so I don't know. The manga was really good. Like it was really captivating. Like I read 40 chapters and like straight. Like sat down, I read them all in a row, and I was like, "Damn, this shit's good." So I think maybe some people who didn't read the manga are kind of feeling that same way when watching it. But because I already know like how good it can be, and I'm watching it, I'm like, this is not the same. You know what I mean?
Well, I haven't read the manga, and I'm equally not enjoying the
Well,
anime.
I'm saying for people who haven't seen the manga but wanted that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And then here's what they're getting, and they're fucking
Yeah,
eating
but
it
like
up.
jobless reincarnation is doing that for them, but good.
We'll
I
get
guess
into
he's not
Jobless
overpowered.
next.
I guess he's not overpowered, and maybe that's the difference. People are just wanting another overpowered anime, and Slime Sensei is doing
I
that
mean,
for them.
that
Whatever
that
gets it rocks off.
that genre makes money. It gets a lot of views, so I don't know.
Oh, dude, what blew my fucking mind? Shit, what was it? I'm gonna go look it up. Uh,
Is this still on Slime, or are we moving on to the next one?
no. You can talk about slime. I'm gonna be pulling up this fucking shit
Yeah,
ass
so
anime.
essentially Slime personally let me down. I don't know. Your opinion might differ. If you do, please leave it in the comments and I'll try to get to it. Chandler will try to get to it. So, but
I'll definitely be responding to all comments, or in the next podcast, we'll feature your comment and then talk about it. Talk about
yep.
how wrong you are.
Well,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm ready to
Uh,
move on to Jobless if you are.
yeah, go for it. Jobless. It's fucking amazing. I'm really enjoying Jobless.
So
But you tell me
Jobless
about it.
Reincarnation. Jobless Reincarnation. It is like the
Wait. Let me
the
pause. Let me pause. I found what anime I was talking about that was god awful, but for whatever reason is ranked 391 in popularity.
the
Fucking, its name is In Another World with My Smartphone. Are you tracking?
I
You
have
know what
I
I'm talking about?
have seen like one episode and I was like, no, I'm not watching this anymore.
How? It was so popular, but it was so bad. It's the only anime that I've written a
Mhm.
negative review for. Like I've taken the time to write, well, no, I've done two. But this one was blatantly negative and the other one was just like pretty neutral. It was
Yeah.
like I could kind of understand what people like about it, but it just wasn't for me. This one I have no clue how people enjoyed this shit. It's even worse than slime. Oh my gosh. But that's a topic for another time. Tell me in the comments if you want me to rant about that. I'll do a whole
He's gonna
separate
do a
bit.
full
Like
in-depth analysis.
I'll do a full I'll watch the rest of it. I only got to
Frame
episode
by
4.
frame.
I
Jobless though. Jobless, I want to commend whoever's animating this. Like I do realize that you're not a biggest team as some other studios, but like even with your limited resources, it looks amazing. Like you can tell, like, all right, it kind of like some of the graphics a little dated. It's not like modern anime, but it still works. It's still good, and I just want to commend the animators for that. Coming from the
Well, no,
manga,
they got help from a major animating studio. Well, not help, but
some
some of the
animators,
animators moved over. Yeah.
because some
And that's
moments like memorable, like when they're around the campfire and he was talking about the spear and killing his family, like that face
mhm.
shot where he got angry. That shit was crazy. Are you tracking what I'm putting down?
Mm,
Let me see.
I'll
Let
get
me see what
Scanlan.
YouTube.
Which character are you talking about?
The dude with
The
the
main
bead
one?
on his head, the eye, the
Oh,
Sujud.
yeah. In the tent at the
Yeah.
fire. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I think what was a better example of that was whenever they, again, spoilers. Skip ahead. Actually, just you should probably just stop. Stop. Why are you why are you this far? Anyways, uh, the most recent episode where he killed the bad guy, like he decapitated the head after
Oh
kicking
yeah.
him. Yeah, that was better. Because you could see the pain on the main character's face. What was his name? The main character.
Rudius.
Oh yeah, Rudius. You could see like the shock, the disappointment, the fear, all at once. It was great.
Actually, I could send a watch together. What was that thing you had? That link?
Oh, it's up in chat. Uh,
Let me Google it. Watch YouTube together. This is for our visual watchers. Create room. Oh, it's playing something random.
Good. That's good. I
That's
cannot
not what I
stress
want.
enough how bad that in another world with a smartphone is. Don't come at me. Anyone that I'm instantly your opinion's invalid. No, I'm not gonna say that because everyone's opinion entitled to their own opinion. But what I'm saying is it's wrong. If you like that anime, people were swearing by it too. It was, blew my fucking mind.
This is for our visual watchers. I'm probably gonna crop out some of that dead space, but it'll probably
Uh,
pick up back here.
Here, I'll just full screen. Oh, let me wait. Pause it. Redo it, and then I'm gonna maximize this and move it over.
You're good. I'm just keeping it in the
Okay.
same little window, so I don't have to play with too much.
Yep. Go ahead and play.
All right. Did you just hit?
違う事実ではない
Ooh.
あれはラプラスの陰謀だ
Ooh.
ラプラス
奴は俺たちを裏切った
Like,
Ooh.
just in that little bit, you don't think about it when you're watching it because you're kind of like engrossed in it, but
When you're
that's a
watching it on
really
its
skilled.
own,
That's like a lot of lines and a lot of shading that had to have been done for that little part.
just that still image that we're looking at right now. That's ooh.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And Jobless, it has a really solid. What I like about it most, right? Sometimes when you're watching an isekai, they kind of stay in one place. You know what I mean? Same characters, same locations over and over. Jobless is not like that. This is like Lord of the Rings. We're traveling Mordor. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah. I
so.
kind of liked the reset because we were kind of getting in a lull around the time when I was starting to be like, okay, we're gonna have to like pick up the story around now. Around like immediately as I was thinking that, boom, next arc, we're in a whole different area with a whole different setting, and now we've got and a whole different objective,
You know
which
what it
was great.
reminds? It reminds me of almost like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna even from like the story without spoiling too much. Like this show does not sit still and it does not sit in one place. Like you will sit in a place for like a minute to catch your breath, but then it just keeps going forward. And that's what I really like about it.
I will say that while I have been thoroughly enjoying it, there hasn't been a moment in this series yet where I've been like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next episode."
So what I think's happening too, like all of this is still the backstory arc. Like we're still all in the backstory. Like I don't think in like the next season is probably still more backstory. And even this, it's telling a story. It doesn't feel like a backstory, but coming from like already reading so far ahead, like we're still in the early stage, bro. Like this is Naruto season one, 220 episodes of backstory before you get into Shippuden. And Shippuden is just the backstory to Boruto. Like,
Well, if I think about that way, um, that makes me excited. But we can
yeah.
only hope. We can
And
only hope that they provide.
I hope they execute it. And after
Didn't Jobless
this,
not come out because of a earthquake? Which anime was that?
that was
There
Attack
was
on
an anime.
Titan. We'll get on
Attack
that
on
though.
Titan.
We'll get
Yeah.
onto that. So, freaking Jobless. The last episode airs tomorrow, and then it comes back for second core in July this year. So I'm looking forward to it. This last episode, they form their clan. He wants to clear the Rijard's name and clear his race of people from their killing ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some morality in question last episode, and I really like that you see this character development from like literally when he was a baby, then he learns what it means to be a good person. He's learning how to interact with other people. He's compared to other isekais, right? Like our main character, he's getting a true second chance to be better, and that's what I really really like about this one. Because
You know what
instead
I've
of
been
that,
hearing?
oh, go ahead.
No, you can go.
Instead of a character who like goes to another world's overpowered, you know what I mean, all that kind of shit. Like this guy in his main world was terrible. He hated his life. He wanted to kill himself, and like he was at the end. But now he gets a true second chance at life, and that's what I really like about it. You could go ahead.
You, you know what I've been hearing is that people don't like about this series, and I don't
I
really
think I
get
know
it.
what you're gonna say.
How dirty and pervy the main character is, how how much
Mhm.
of a scumbag he is, and
That's
I'm
just an
like
anime
that's what,
trope, though.
well, yeah, it's a trope, but like I guess people are upset that it's taking it like above and beyond, and like
So
I
I
guess
think what I want to
I
say is
don't.
that
I think it feeds into his character, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like every time he does something pervy or scumbaggy, it's kind of a reminder that hey, this guy used to be like a literal shitbag in his in his last
yeah,
life,
and he's
right? It's kind of
learning.
like
You
a
know what I mean?
reminder. Yeah, and slowly but surely you're starting to see less and less of that, and I think it's all part of character development,
So
and I think people need to get over it.
one, it's kind of like an anime trope, but two, it's certain communities who do watch anime, right? I'm not gonna point fingers. I'm not gonna call out names, but certain communities are a little more sensitive when it comes to certain things, right? We both know that, and I think it's that community that's raising an alarm and an alert because they got offended.
Well,
But
I don't know what they're offended about.
well, if you're thinking the same communities, you would know why they got offended. But I'm gonna leave it at that. You can meet offline if you want to go more into detail.
Okay.
But
Uh,
Jobless Reincarnation, good. You definitely need to check it out. At least the first two episodes. And if you don't like it, you can come back here and we'll talk about fucking Crystal Gravy.
especially if you're watching a slime. If you're watching slime, fucking
Yeah.
watch Jobless.
And
Do
I'd
it.
love to talk about it. I'd love to get that feedback on Slime. Why do you think it's a good anime or anything like that?
And I would like to be like, I told you this one's better. I'm joking.
All right. Let's
All
let's
jokes
move
are-
on. Horimiya.
Okay. I keep on saying Horiyama, even though it's a
Yeah.
completely different it's a completely different series. But Horimiya, yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of been falling flat as of recent for me, at least.
Are you fully caught up on every episode?
I don't think I've watched the most recent one, no.
So, if you're not aware, Horimiya started off as a web comic, not a manga that was published. It started off as a web comic that was super short, not a lot of
Like
panels,
One
not a
Punch
lot of
Man.
animation. Sure, yeah, like One Punch Man. And Horimiya was redone like 6 times now. There's two other animes that were Horimiya, but
I
this
did
is
not know
our,
that.
yeah, I didn't know that either. I had to look into that. And then
Oh
it
wow.
finally became a real manga. Yeah, you can look it up. It was animated. I don't know by who. Let me look it up.
Yeah, there's Hori-san, Tamiku, Miyamura-kun.
Yep.
Oh, that's a Nova. That's just Nova.
There's an anime
No,
in
I only
2012. It was on the
2012. I'm
wiki.
not
There's
seeing it.
four episodes.
Oh, maybe that's the OVA that I'm looking at. No, that's 2021. Huh.
It was
No,
on.
no,
It
no,
was,
2020. No, it's 2012. It was 2012. Yeah, never mind. I see it.
mhm.
Um, September 26, 2012.
Yep.
Here, I'll scroll over here so y'all can see this one right here.
Anyways, Horimiya, right? It's been redone a bunch of times. There's mangas, animes. So I don't think it's necessarily bad. Like, it's not at all a
That's
bad story.
that's strange.
What?
If you go to the 2012 Horimiya anime on my anime list,
Mhm.
they've got the current animated characters for the in the pictures for the characters and voice actors.
Yeah, I mean, that's on their system. But anyways, Horimiya is not a bad story. It's not necessarily an exceptional one, right? It's just good. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not wowing me in any particular way. But at the same time, it's definitely not bad. I
Yeah.
think it's just different enough to where I can enjoy it, right? It's not
Yeah.
something that's like
Crazy, like, oh my God, I'm fucking exploding. Like,
it's not let me point a finger at something. What's something that I'm really enjoying?
quintuplets.
Well, yeah, it's not. Hate to compare it to I hate to compare it to that, but it's not quintuplets. Yeah, you're right. uh,
Yeah, anyways, Horimiya,
uh,
there there's different arcs. Every arc's gonna follow a different couple. I've read ahead a little bit. Eventually, I was just like, it's kind of the same thing almost every time. And I like
so
stuff that progresses, like Domestic Kanajo. Like that story progresses a lot. You go through
it
10 years of their life
yeah,
and
it
it
progresses all
changes.
right.
It changes. Like you're not in that high school setting forever, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what annoys me for some mangas and some animes. So at least you see the
so
progression.
what I was excited about when I was first watching Horimiya is
Hmm.
around the third episode.
Hmm.
Yeah, the third episode when he was hopping the fence, right? He was taking all of his jacket and everything off, and he was
Hmm.
hopping the fence, and he looked all cool and shit, right?
Hmm.
And he lands in front of the blonde friend
Hmm.
that likes the green haired dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
When he landed in front of her, I thought there was going to be kind of like she has like a
A
crush on
harem?
this he has she has this crush on this like mystery guy that she doesn't
Hmm.
know exists. And then I thought it was going to be like mind blowing for her whenever he showed up to school one day, or maybe she saw
Hmm.
him with um Hori-san? Hori?
Hmm.
That's her name, right?
Yeah, Hori.
When he saw her with Hori, and that would have been really cool because I kind of wanted. I know this is gonna sound weird, but I kind of wanted the love triangle, like the
Yeah.
drama. I wanted the drama, right? But we didn't get it. Instead, we just get a wholesome anime about a girl that likes to be degraded.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's one way to put it. The blonde girl kind of got into a love triangle for a minute, but yeah, it's literally just a normal like teenage semi-comedy romantic anime. There's not much more to it, and it goes through the different emotions and relationships, and that's
I
about
think
it.
what sets it apart, the thing that's setting it apart for both of us, I could probably speak for both of us right now. I think the one thing that's setting it apart is it's kind of more realistic, right?
Yeah,
So
I
it's
can
like
agree with that.
it's more realistic than most romance animes. Like to the point where it's kind of like almost like as if you're watching it's like that nice in between like an American like a Western actual TV
Hmm.
show romance
Like a
TV show.
sitcom or
Yeah,
a soap
like
opera.
a soap opera or sitcom, right? It's kind of like
Hmm.
that nice in between that and anime romance, right?
Yeah.
That's usually more exaggerated. So it's not quite as exaggerated as most anime romances, and it's not quite normal, like just a normal chick flick.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. And we're going to take a brief intermission. So we'll be back after the following ads.
All right, it's on you.
Yep, one
You gonna
second.
blast through those ads?
Let me pull up my ad sheet here. Are your potatoes just too dry? Is your mashed potatoes not meeting your dietary restrictions and standards? Then look no further than Crystal Clear Gravy. Crystal Clear Gravy is a healthy, vegan, gluten-free, homegrown, free-range alternative to gravy sauce. You can purchase the recipe, or you can purchase the pre-packaged 100% no paper wasted box that contains your Crystal Gravy. If you're looking for a good munchin and calorie conscious, look into Crystal Gravy. Once again, that's Crystal Gravy at crystalgravy.net. All right, now back to our weekly discussion. So last we left off before our intermission was Horimiya. So
And I
long
think we
story.
wrapped that up.
I'm just gonna summarize real quick. Long story short, Horimiya is your realistic take on a romantic situation between teenagers in high school with slight comedic elements.
Okay, yeah,
Huh?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
All
Now,
right.
I'm not caught up on Wonder Egg. Are
I
you?
am very much so caught up. So there
Oh,
was a kind of dip in the middle. So if you're not familiar too much with the studios, they're kind of having a rough time. The studio there, especially with like COVID and stuff, they're losing a bunch of people. Their studios like shut down. They could have to animate from home. That's why we had a recap episode last week. It's because they're outsourcing. They're asking other animators to help out. So they've been doing one animation director per episode, and this last episode had eight
oh,
animating directors, and it was not like bad. It was pretty freaking good. You know what I mean?
okay.
So the story is twisty and turny. That's a good way I could put it because you're watching it, you're like, oh, this. I don't know what's going on, and then it ends, and you're like, huh, I wonder what's gonna happen next. Like not in a bad way though. It leaves you like thought provoking. That's what I like most about it. It's very thought provoking, and just because you're watching moe like anime girls, it's very dark. It's very dark.
I I was getting a lot of Madoka Magica vibes from it.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. The whole synopsis is it's about girls who commit suicide, and the girls who like are the ones who didn't, they have to go in and save them through their dreams. And it's not saving them to bring them back to life, it's to save their souls so they are not trapped in like an eternal hell. But you wouldn't get that just looking at pictures. You're like, oh, cute anime girls doing cute things. Yeah, sure. And it's actually way deeper, and it does not shy away from real serious topics. Like this last episodes that just aired Wednesday or Tuesday. It one of the girls that they were saving was a girl who identified as a boy, and her teacher disagreed. So her teacher like raped her and got her pregnant, and then the girl killed herself. And dude, it's heavy. Some of this stuff is really heavy, and it does a
Uh,
lot of analysis on like I don't know, I think it's really in commentary on like mental health. So I think it's actually really interesting and really good compared to Madoka Magica, where it's just like, oh, I'm on LSD. Like Wonder Egg is more like a note on mental health and like keeping yourself afloat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I think it's definitely worth a
Holy.
watch.
I guess I've been missing out.
Yeah,
Or
because
maybe
for
not.
I don't know, some of the episodes like you wouldn't like if the first three you're like you don't really get that, and then as it progresses like to this point, you're like okay, I'm starting to get the message. You know what I mean?
The last episode I watched was with the twins, right? And the
Hmm.
twins, their idol died, and then so they killed themselves.
There's a little bit of a lesson to be learned in every episode, but those first ones are not really like clear and not that serious. But as the story goes on, they get a little more deeper and serious.
Okay.
So I think it's worth a watch. But moving on, Doctor Stone,
Now this
Stone
one I
Wars.
got you beat. This is the
Yeah,
one I got you beat. You
I
haven't
dropped
been
season
watching
one.
this. Fucking Doctor Stone's Stone Wars. All right, I thoroughly enjoy it. As far as different anime go, okay, so part of the reason Spice and Wolf is one of my favorite animes is because you can't find an anime like that anywhere. It's a one of a kind, like a story about a traveling merchant, and like the detail that they have with the currency and all of that. It's amazing. So like that's a one of a kind anime, just like Doctor Stone is kind of a one of a kind anime in the fact that you're not gonna get an anime that like describes in depth everything that they're doing, right? So like everything that they usually in anime, what they'll be like, oh, I'm whipping this up, and then boom, look, I've got this. But in Doctor Stone, they explain each and every step, almost to the point where you could follow along if you had the equipment for it. Or I mean, they don't really have the equipment. I guess you could follow along, to the point where in some situations they even have warnings on the screen saying don't try this at home because it's like real shit. Right? They described in depth how to make TNT. um, and I've been enjoying it based off of that because it's very grounded to, even though it's exaggerated, it's grounded to reality to an extent, and I really enjoy that. Kind of because it kind of takes away that kind of, oh, that's bullshit, like that thought process never happens.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my opinion on it is that whole spiel, what he finds really cool, right? Everybody has comes from different walks of life and have different beliefs and values, right? That thing I do not find cool. Like Chandler finds it cool. Your host Ryu, that's not my thing. Like I did watch a few episodes, but after a while, I was just like, man, this isn't for me. Like this, it kind of bores me instead. So it's
I
cool.
don't
It's
know.
cool
It's
you
just the
find it
fact
cool,
that,
but
yeah, it's just
not me though.
like we, lots of the time in anime or anything you're watching, you'll be like, that's bullshit, right? That's like
Hmm.
they can't just do that. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. They just kind of like pulled something out of thin air. It's like, oh, they just did it because the main character is smart, and that's it. But this, I I never am in my head saying, nah, that's not real.
Where's your boundaries on that though? Like if you're watching Naruto and he throws a Rasengan and you're like, nah, there's no way.
Well, okay, so it's different. If an anime describes in detail like the systems and how everything works,
Mhm.
yeah, like if they explain, what I hate is whenever there's no development in the magical structure of
Mhm.
of specific shows, right? So like if it doesn't go describe how the magical system works, then it's kind of like they can just kind of throw shit into the story and be like, yeah, it works because it works.
I mean, to be fair, we don't really understand like ReZero's magic. Like, what is the witch's magic? What is little little bees magic? You know what I mean?
Little bees.
Beatrice?
Beatrice? Oh, well,
Like,
they
how
they
does her
kind of
shit work?
describe that. They describe that she
They understand the door part, but what about her offensive magic? That wasn't really explained. And then Emilia, spirits? Okay. Like, yeah, it's magic. It
Well,
works.
yeah, yeah. Well, the spirit. I guess he got me. I don't know. There's a point where it becomes just like, oh, that's
No, I
bullshit, right?
understand what you're saying,
And
though.
and like and
The answer
yeah,
is
there's a
magic.
point. Yeah, yeah. Well, whenever you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're
Whenever
talking about. I know what you're talking about.
like if they just randomly throw something in out of like the left field and they're like, yeah, it works because it works. Why not? I mean, and even in Naruto, at some points, I was kind of like, come on, like
Chakra, bro.
really, like for instance, like it's minor. It's a minor pet peeve of mine, but like differences in power at one segment of the story, as opposed to like later in the story. Like a prime example would be, well, I've got two examples. The prime example would be, you know how overpowered Naruto was. Well, not overpowered, but super. He seemed like super strong in the pain arc, right?
Yeah.
Because of his Sage Jutsu.
Hmm.
But then later, Sage Jutsu wasn't all that. It was just kind of like, oh, that's whatever. I mean, it's kind of pussy shit. Another example would be Rasengan, right?
Hmm.
Literally tears, like, breaks boulders apart, tears holes through fucking wood, like, I mean, trees. And then an enemy will take a hit directly to the back, point blank. Nothing. Gets right back. I was like, what Rasengan? That kind of takes me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, they did talk about, though, how they refocus their chakra to different areas of their body to withstand hits. So there is some explanations of Naruto, but I do understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't know. I don't know.
Moving on from Dr. Stone Stone
Yeah.
Wars, we move into probably one of my favorites of this whole season, the quintessential quintuplets 2. Goddamn. Goddamn.
I was hesitant on this one, but you vouched for it enough to where I finally picked it up. I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And now
Are
I'm
you caught
excited
up? You
for
watched
each
the last
episode.
episode?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
I don't know what it is. A harem with 5 wholesome girls. Because I can't even call them hoes, because they deserve better than that. You can't hate any of them. Like, they're all cute. They're all caring, and they're all wholesome. Like, if you could choose, you might as well just have all of them.
Okay, so something something that was straying me away from the quintessential quintuplets is because I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I knew the ins and outs of this genre. I was like, for sure. Now it still might be this way, and if so, I'll be really let down. But like almost 99.9% of the time in a harem anime or
It's like
like
ecchi.
or like a romance anime where there's
Mhm.
multiple love interests, it's always the girl that you meet first, no matter what. It like as like that's always the girl he ends up with every single time. It's always the very first girl that he meets up with. So in this case, it would be Nakano. No, Itsuki.
Itsuki.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Itsuki.
Nakano is their last
Uh,
name.
yeah, Nakano is their last name. In this case, it'd be Itsuki if it was gonna play into the stereotype.
Mhm.
But it seems even if all of the other characters get more character development with the main character, and you're kind of almost every time you're rooting for like this one of the side characters because they're more fleshed out and they
Mhm.
have a better connection. But every single time, it's almost like they just completely forget all of that. They're like, you know, all of that character development was a waste.
Yeah.
It's this girl, the first girl that you met, for no reason, and it was a bummer. I mean, it's just a bummer seeing it happen over and over again. So I
Mhm.
was kind of done with this genre.
Mhm.
Ryu was like, no, it's not that way. You really don't know who it's going to be. And I was like, okay, fine. I started watching it. Sure enough, I have no fucking clues who he's gonna end up with. I have no fucking clue. I was like,
Dude,
if I had to
even with
place,
my oh, go ahead.
if I had to place bets, it would be Miku or Nino? No. Yeah, Miku or Nino is who I want it to be. I really hope it's not Itsuki. I really hope it's not Itsuki.
So I'll tell you this, right? Like even when I read it, I didn't know the whole time. Like I'd guess, right? And then even when I got to that point, it still shocked me. I was like, "Holy fuck, you got me! You pulled one on me." You know what I mean?
I swear to God, if it's Itsuki, I will be so disappointed. I'll be like,
That's why it's kind of fun too. Like why it's so good because it's wholesome, it's fun to watch, and you're genuinely like this mystery. I can't solve it, and because it's not three, it's not two, it's five. The numbers
they
are
all
so
look the
big, you're
exact same.
confused. And he kind of has a relationship with all of them. You know what I mean? Like a good
Well, all
relationship
of
with
them
all of them.
except for Yotsuba.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Yotsuba would be like that would be a shocker. I mean, like it would be not a good
Mhm.
shocker, but it would be a shocker if
Well, I'll tell
Yotsuba
you. I'll tell
ended
you
up.
this. They can go two ways from this. They could wrap this all up in a movie because there's only like one more arc. Literally, like after this, there's only one more arc, and it gets to the answer. But the way the manga plays it out is you see all five girls' perspectives for what happens next. So that's why it kind of like is a little bit lengthy, but they can wrap it up. If they do season 3, it's gonna be 11 or 12 episodes and it's done. Because season 3 will end it, or they'll make a movie and end it. So I doubt it's gonna be a movie. It's probably gonna be season 3. The space between season 1 and season 2 was about 2.5 years. So in 2.5 years, we'll see the season 3 finale, or there'll be a movie next summer. I don't know.
I really like how they none of them have been all of the love interests
Hmm.
have not been quiet about it. No, all of them have spoken up thus far, and that's
Hmm.
really awesome because usually uh,
They all
there's
hide
only like
it,
one or
yeah.
two. Yeah, they all
And
hide
it's
it.
kind of
They're all
annoying
embarrassed.
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And this time it's all out in the open. The main character knows both Ichika, Miku, and Nino all like him. He
Hmm.
knows, right? He's
They're
playing
all
it
like
really
perfect
cool.
waifus. They're all perfect
Yeah, they are.
waifus, and they're
Imagine
aggressive.
being this nerd. Imagine being this nerd. And you've got three beautiful, identical twins.
Dude, that'd be.
You're this poor nerd. And not only are they beautiful
They're
and
rich.
wholesome, they're filthy rich. They're
Filthy
filthy
rich.
rich.
It's you can't make it up. You literally can't make it up. Like it's really fucking good. Quintessentially, the quintuplets is
That's why I'm kind of
good.
like blown away at how composed
He is.
Futuro is.
I mean, even he
What?
starts blushing sometimes. Remember, like sometimes he'll just start blushing or get overwhelmed.
Not
So
nearly as much. I mean, I'm 22. and I feel like I'm kind of over like getting all flustered and shit
Uh,
when it comes to like romantic stuff.
yeah.
Um I know how sad that sounds, but
I've
but
lived death every day.
but even in this scenario, right?
Mhm.
I would be extremely flustered because it's so out of left field, right? I wouldn't
Mhm.
know what to think. It'd be like, what is going on? Am I in a coma?
But to wrap it up, quintessential quintuplets 2 is fire. You need to watch it this season. You need to. If you didn't see season one, if it's not your thing, I'd say give it 3 or 4 episodes. Not your thing, okay, sure. But if it is, season 2, it only gets better. From we're going straight up a roller coaster, and I don't see the end. I don't see the drop. Like,
Second season is for sure better than the first season. First season really
mhm.
focus is on Itsuki. That's kind of
Establishing the
where I
characters, yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of they kind of used Itsuki as the
Anchor.
structure.
Mhm.
Yeah, the anchor, right? Because they were following the stereotypical tropes, like, oh, she's gonna. That's kind of why I was like, oh, he's gonna end up with her. I mean, like, it's almost a guarantee.
Mhm.
Second season is when shit. Yeah, like he said, roller
Hits the
coaster. Like
fucking roller
I
coaster.
don't.
I'm telling you, man, this is a whole mystery. It starts off with the dude at his wedding, and he's like, which girl is he marrying. There's five options to choose. You don't know. You don't know. Even when you're about to get the answer, you're still like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then it happens, and there's a drop, and you're like slamming shit. You're like, holy shit, it happened. So
He's
all
talking.
right.
He read ahead in the manga, so he
This
knows.
this
But
manga is extremely short. Like it is not long at all compared to like most other shows, even shows that only had one season or two seasons. Like this manga is really freaking short. Like you could probably finish it in like 2 hours. So
enough of the quintessential quintuplets.
I can't get enough. I can't. All right, let's keep going.
I watched the first episode of So I'm a Spider. So what?
So I watched 3 or 4. So I didn't read the web comics. I don't know how this is gonna play out. From the 4
It
episodes I watched.
definitely it
Go ahead.
definitely seems like an anime I'm going to circle back to much later when I run out of shit to watch. Right? It's
Yeah,
gonna be an
that's
anime
kind of
I'm
where
gonna
I
be like,
am.
I mean, because it's not bad. So far, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem bad. I hope it doesn't fall into the same like pitfall that Slime Sensei. I mean, it's not Slime
That's the
Sensei.
vibes I'm
Slime.
getting.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
TBH.
Yeah. It's kind of it kind of feels like the cutting like almost a carbon copy of Slime, and I'm hoping that it doesn't fall into the same tropes. I did notice in the first episode
Mhm.
it was pretty interesting seeing that all of his other classmates were human,
Mhm.
and she was the only one that was like put in this shit situation. So that could be interesting. I'll have to get back to y'all next time or whenever I get back to. I might come
Mhm.
back 3 podcasts from now and be like, "Oh my gosh, y'all have to watch." So I'm a spider. So what? Y'all have to do it. But
So
for now, I can't really speak on it.
So like the thing you did with with quintuplets, right? How you approached it with an open mind. That's what I think I'm gonna try to keep doing with this and try to watch whatever is because I think there's 11 or 12 episodes now, and I'm on like episode 4. Because
Mm,
it's not interesting. It has a good hook, right? Like her friends are in the same world. They're humans. She's a monster. There's another friend who is a monster too, and she's trying to they're trying to look for her in this world, and she just doesn't know. She thinks she's the only one. So I might
huh.
approach it. That's the only hook for me that might have interest to see these relationships because that's what I like anime for a lot. Is like the character development, the relationships. That's what gets me going. So I want to look out for that, and I think I might watch a little bit, see if it goes in that direction. But if it goes in the slime direction, it's not gonna be favorable for me. So going on Black Clover, I do not watch Black Clover. Do you?
Oh, I could rant about Black Clover for like a
Are
whole
you
hour,
caught
but I'm
up
not
though
going
to
to.
like episode
I'm not
168?
I'm not caught up all the way. I watched all through last season, right?
Hmm.
So like I was caught up to there. Just because I was kind of forcing my way through it, right?
Hmm.
Because I was like, it's so high up there on the charts. It's got to be good,
Yeah.
right? And I was just like, surely it gets better. I even had a IRL conversation with a few people that were
Hmm.
swearing by Black Clover. Then I explained what I disliked about it, and they
Hmm.
tried. At first, they were like, I'll get into it," but at first they were like, "No, no, that's not how it is." And then I explained, "Yes, that's exactly how it is." And then whenever they heard that, they were like, "Holy shit, yeah, he's right." All right, so my problem with Black Clover, my whole problem with it, no one is allowed to die. There's two things.
Hmm.
There's two things. A, no one is allowed to die.
Hmm.
Not even enemies. Absolutely no one is allowed to die. Like, yeah, like you'll see someone die, and then they'll be brought back to life, and then they'll be
Yeah.
best friends.
I
Well,
mean,
we're best friends now, and I hate that. I hate that.
oh,
Every single person in this cast has plot armor, and it's annoying. It's
a lot of
so annoying.
people wish there's plot armor in Attack on Titan, but that's not how he rolls. Like, there's no plot
Yeah,
armor
and
there.
that's what makes it so good is that
It
people
is.
can die. There's
There's
suspense,
risk. There's risk.
but there's
Yeah.
risk. Yeah, there's risk. Cause like who knows? Any one of these main characters might die. The only one that you kind of know for certain isn't going to die right now. Maybe at the
Mm.
end of the series is fucking the main character. What's his name?
Uh,
Uh,
Black Clover. I
what's
don't
his
know.
name? No, in Attack on Titan.
Oh, Aaron Yeager.
Yeah, Aaron Yeager. Fuck, how did I miss? I'm so
Man,
bad with
I'm
names.
excited to see that next episode.
Yeah, me too. But with Black Clover, absolutely no one's allowed to die.
Mhm.
Enemies almost 100% of the time become friends. They're best buddies, which leads me into my second thing that I hate.
Mhm.
Example B of why I hate fucking Black Clover. Every single time there's a new person introduced to the cast, right? As a good guy. Every single time a new scene happens, right?
Mhm.
Uh, that new person that was added, their little quip, their little shtick that they do, like it might be
Mhm.
like a little verbiage thing, like one of the characters is like really shy. She's
Mhm.
always going like, "Oh, don't look at me," right? And then like another one's like, "Stupid Asuna," I think that's his
Mhm.
name. You know, quips like that, right?
Yeah.
They run through them in order, every single scene, every single scene. And as the cast grows bigger and bigger, because again,
Mhm.
enemies become friends, and now we're friends, and so more people get introduced. Now the line gets longer, and everyone has to get their little quip in
Yeah.
before the next scene starts, and it's annoying as fuck. It's like at first it was kind of like, oh, that's kind of funny, maybe a
Yeah.
little, right? But then it just gets so dry. And every single time a new scene happens and the characters are introduced, they're going to do their little quip every single time.
Gee.
It's so annoying. And it just gets longer and longer to the point where it's literally like a line, like going down a line.
Mhm.
Like imagine you had a classroom full of people and you're like, everyone tell me one special thing that's special to you, you know?
Mhm.
And then you ask the same question and you got the same answer every single time from that classroom. And every single day you had to ask that same question and it was always the same answer. That's what
Jesus.
happens.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's awful. But
Yeah,
mainly
I
the
haven't even
main
tried it.
but mainly the no dying thing. And at first, what turned me off was the fact. Well, everyone was kind of turned off by how loud the main character was.
Yeah.
But he kind they fixed that. They stopped doing that like 20 episodes in. Because loud they figured out, oh, loud is not funny, huh? And then another thing that really is a bummer is the animation's really bad. They skimp on the animation, like really, really hype fight scenes. Right? Go watch any fight scene you want of them, and you'll see really hype fight scenes that if you were watching this series thus far, you're like, oh, this is what I've been waiting on. This is why this series is so high. You watch the fight scene and it's just flashes on a screen. You don't see any actual animation.
Yeah.
It's more like, you know what I'm talking about? Like they
A little
skimp out
bit.
on the animation. Like
Like Mom
instead
Psycho
of
stuff
seeing,
sometimes.
well, no, Mom Psycho is beautiful.
Yeah, you're right.
And you see everything. But like I to dumb it down, like in a really, if a good animation was seeing like the fight scene, fist, like seeing each blow with the fist, right?
Mhm.
Let's say that's a good fight scene. Instead, you would see like where they went to go punch
Mhm.
and then you saw a flash, right? Like a
Okay.
flash hit the screen and then you had to imagine that the fist connected.
Yeah, that sounds whack, dude.
Yeah, it's a mess, and people swear by that anime. I'm gonna make a lot of people mad on this podcast.
Before I cut you
Shitting on
off, though,
Slime Sensei and Black
we're
Clover.
going on one of our last intermissions before we get into our last message from one of our sponsors. So if you need to grab a drink, just listen to that 30-second tune before we go straight into our ad reel.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, this is your host Ryu, and this podcast we want to give a good shout out to Pod Central. Pod Central is your central hub for everything pod, whether it be detergent pod, dish pods, or or plant pods, where you plant seeds through pod form. Once again, this is brought to you by Pod Central. You can check them out on Instagram at PodCentral_RealIG. Yep, Pod Central _RealIG. Anyways, back into the show. We have Culture Cafe. My bad. We have
No, you
gone
skipped.
through.
You
No,
s-
the
you
ad, the
sk-
Adderall was good. We gave Crystal Gravy their last one.
no. Laid back camp.
Yeah, I'm about to get into that right now.
Oh, what?
So,
Oh,
on our-
Culture Cafe is the name of this podcast.
That's gonna be the
I was like,
TikTok
what?
reel.
I was like, what is what is this anime called Culture Cafe? It sounds cool.
That's
So,
gonna
like,
that's gonna be on the TikTok reel.
okay.
When you forget you're in your podcast. Anyways, we went through number 1 through 10. We've covered ReZero season 2. It's been pretty good. Jujutsu Kaisen, it's been pretty good. Slime, we both have the same opinion. It's not our thing. Jobless Reincarnation, really promising. I'm hoping that deal gets signed where they're releasing episodes all the way till it's finished. Horimiya, your realistic rom-com. Wonder Egg, your deep thought-provoking, like what the hell is going on show. Dr. Stone, informative action. If you're into that kind of thing, quintuplets. Damn. Just damn. Soma Spider, so what? It's pretty highly ranked on our weekly karma poll, so we'll have to give it a shot. Anyways, Black Clover, you've heard Chandler's strongly worded opinions, and now we're going into number 11, Laid Back Camp Season 2.
I have not been watching this, so I can't put any input on it. So you'll have to convince me to watch it. Go.
So, I haven't seen too much of it. I saw episode 1 of Season 1. There's a lot of people who really like it. Like, really like it. It's actually more popular than you
Well,
think.
obviously.
It's really popular. It gets a bunch of awards. It's highly rated. Let me check its ranking to give you accurate number. Let me see. Laid Back Camp. But anyways, yeah. So essentially, what it's about, it is about a group of girls. Have you seen A Place Further Than the Universe anime?
Place for yeah.
With the girls who go to Antarctica.
Oh shit! That was the one. That was the one I was talking about. That you were saying that you would if I watched, then I would kind of think about my high school life and how shit it was. Isn't that the one?
Maybe. It's anyways, that one, A Place Further Than the Universe, is about a group of girls. Her mom was like an explorer and they want to go to Antarctica to fulfill her like wish, her dream. Anyways, Laid Back Camp is similar in that area. Are you looking for the link for the other one? I can send it to you.
Huh? No. I'm
Anyways.
just pulling up Laid Back Camp.
Yeah, Laid Back Camp is a anime in similar nature, right? Cute girls doing cute things. All these girls really love camping. And apparently it's really wholesome. Do you want to guess what the ranking is for season 2 on my anime list? Out of all anime? Laid Back Camp season 2.
68.
So
Holy.
obviously, both of us are missing out on something that we don't know. But it's season 2, so we have to
gotta
see
be.
season 1 to know. Because there's not really a piece in the top like 100 that is bad. They're in their ranking for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, like, let me fact check that.
Top anime. Let's see. I'm trying to eyeball see if there's something
Yeah.
that.
I'm not seeing anything that I would particularly say is bad.
And for Monogatari series, like that one's just next level brain, and we're not smart enough to like understand what's going on.
Yeah. That's an investment of time right there.
That's an investment of brain cells. Like you have to be on coffee, like you had Red Bull to understand. But there's nothing bad in the top 100. Like everything is in the
Yeah,
top
I'm seeing.
100 for a reason. Even A Place
I-
Further Than the Universe is number 81. It's only like 20 behind. So they're up there for a
I'm-
reason.
I'm looking through. I'm not seeing anything that I would disagree with so far.
So
Damn,
it
I didn't
gets
know
Hmm?
Overlord was so high up there.
That's a shocker for me too.
I mean, like I enjoyed it, so I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, some parts are really good, but some parts were just kind of like boring to me. I don't know. But anyways, Laid Back
Ah,
Camp season 2. It's highly ranked. Gets bunch of awards on Reddit. Everyone's talking about it. They say it's super wholesome, and it's a feel good kind of show of cute girls doing cute things, but it's ultra wholesome to the max. And basically, the synopsis, briefly, is there's a group of girls in high school. They love camping. Without going too much in detail, that's what it's about. So it sounds kind of general, like not much going on, but it's ranked highly for a reason. So.
we'll have to take a look at it for sure. We'll
Yeah,
get
I've
back
been
to
meaning to get
y'all.
around to it. So
We'll get back to y'all about that next time.
going
That
into
and
number 12. Oh,
potentially
go
Spider.
ahead. Yeah,
That
potentially
and
Spider.
potentially Soma Spider. Yeah.
Number 12, Higurashi When They Cry, Go.
Oh no,
Hmm?
I I have not been watching, even though I should. I know I should. I'm pretty sure I know.
So
Is
let me
this the
give
one
you
I'm?
some backstory, like Horimiya backstory on this one, right? If you're not tracking what Higurashi is, back in early 2000s, a bunch of virtual novels came out, right? To include like Clannad, Steins Gate, right?
Uh huh.
This was one of those VNs, virtual novels, that was made by like a group of two dudes. Know how
I
much
I remember. I
hmm?
remember. I think I watched the
Original.
old version of this. Yeah, the original. I have not watched this new one.
So
It's not that high up there, actually.
no,
It's weird.
Higurashi's not the high up there because it's I don't want to say it's like a niche genre, but it's not like a mainstream genre, right? Like you have your harems, you have your actions, you have your like dramas, right? This is not either of those.
Yeah.
This is a straight horror show. So you know what I mean? There's only a small
Yeah.
community that watches horror anime, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got to be in the mood for it, right? So like, I've got to be like, oh, I'm ready to be traumatized. Let's watch.
So on that note though of horror, like maybe the first half of it is like straight horror, like oh my god, I'm turning the lights on. I'm not watching just in the dark, you know what I mean? But then it gets deeper. The story develops, the character, you start to get a grasp of what's going on, and as it explains and reveals itself, like most scary movies, you know what I mean? Like there's a monster, and then you learn about the monster later and why the monster is doing what it does.
Mm-hmm.
It does that, and it does it really well because this is actually a sequel. So I don't know how much I can say without it ruining for you.
Did you ever watch Corpse Party? I think that's what it's called.
Is that what it's called? Let
Yeah,
me see.
Corpse Party. There was a game. It was. It's based off of a game.
Let me see.
Corpse Party. I've watched this. Hold on. Let me. Good.
I found an OVA.
I think it was only 4 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. The OVA is it. It's pretty high up there on the popularity. Not very high up there on the rank.
Yeah, so
um,
if I were to
I can't really
explain
remember.
Higurashi, Higurashi's a little bit like Steins Gate, but instead of sci-fi, it's horror. If that kind
Huh.
of explains it a little bit without saying too much. It's Steins Gate, but instead of you know, sci-fi, it's horror.
You're just trying to get me to watch it because I love Steins Gate.
No, not even that. Because you're gonna be lost in the sauce for the first like 10 or 12 episodes. Like the first half of it, because it is a sequel, so I mean it doesn't require background knowledge, but when you're watching it, you're gonna be like, I genuinely don't know what the fuck's going on. Like you're gonna be watching, you're gonna literally be confused. Like that was me. At some points, I was just like, yeah, I'm not finishing this episode till later. But once I got to that point where it's like stuff starts getting explained, I could not stop watching it. I had to look up YouTube analysis. I had to look into the game. I even played the first game because it's free, and I was like, holy shit! Like I
Where did
looked
you
up,
play this first game?
hmm?
When
It's
did
just
you
a
play
visual
this first
novel. It's
game?
free on Steam.
Yeah, when did you play it?
Before I got into this school, It's not long. It's like chapters. It's a visual novel. It's not really a game. So you just click through and read the page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I looked up the manga and everything. I didn't finish all the manga because it's really long, but this show. Do not sleep on it. I know it's gonna be a struggle at first because you're gonna be like, I'm just getting fucking spooked and I don't know what's going on. But it's definitely worth the watch. I like it a lot. I don't think it's like a game changer. I don't think it's as good as Steins Gate, but that's just like what it's like. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Okay.
Steins Gate, but horror. So spooky Steins Gate. If you're into spooky shit, it's worth a watch.
I'll
Even if you're
I'll
not
get
into
around
spooky
to
shit.
it.
Hmm
I can't give a timeline on when I'd start watching this because again, it's just whenever I don't know. I wouldn't call it a mood, but like whenever I'm in like I feel like getting like spooked or creeped out or shit
So
like
I'll tell
that.
you, it's not jump scares. It's a bunch of psychological horror, but it really does.
Well, yeah,
Some of
yeah.
it, some of it's really unsettling and like a thriller kind of. So some of that shit did have me on the edge of the seat. I'm not gonna lie. Like even if they're just cute little anime girls, you're like, man, this shit's fucking scary. And some of the moments too, like, it has really good audio. I noticed that when I put it on my surround sound speakers, like some
You
of those
put it on
parts,
this.
like cute anime girl talking, and then she suddenly like deep voice, like you're like, oh shit, I just shit myself.
Okay, I'll have to get around to it. I will watch it eventually. Actually, I'll put it on my plan to watch right now. But not anytime soon.
So the next one, number 13, bottom tier character Tomozaki. This one is pretty good. This one's pretty good. At
I
first, I
I
thought,
I
go ahead.
I too think that is really good. I was kind of holding off on it for the longest, but you kind
Are
of
you caught
talked me
up?
into it. Yeah, yeah, I'm caught up.
All the way up to the latest episode of the train
Yeah,
station
yeah.
ending.
Uh-huh.
So
So we can talk about it.
yeah, we can talk about it, dude. Like it's taking a direction that kind of has me on my seat to watch the next episode. I'm not lying.
I thought it was kind of fucked up whenever I was whenever I feel like uh I really thought the entire time when he was about to meet up with what's her fucking name? The
The
main
girl for the
character. What was
fireworks.
no, that
Oh,
one.
Hinami.
Yeah, Hinami. Whenever he was gonna meet up with her after the
Hmm
fireworks, I thought the reason he didn't confess to the girl at the fireworks was because he felt more comfortable talking to Hinami,
hmm
and that he was going to confess to Hinami.
That's
That
what I
didn't
thought too.
happen.
But
That didn't
see,
happen.
here's my analysis, right? Like some of the parts in the beginning were kind of cringe. I was like, oh fuck, this is cringe. Like I'm literally physically cringing. When he's like, I'm a gamer. Like
Are you watching it in dubbed or something? I wasn't having that hard of a time
no,
with
even
the
the
cringe. I
subs
mean,
when he was giving that speech in the games, like he works so hard in this game, and then all the girls are just like cringe, cringe. But no, like literally, I think what it is like she was trying to help him and fix his life, right? But eventually
Mm-hmm.
he realized that there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just, I just have to be myself instead of trying to force myself to be someone I'm not. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
once
and
he
she.
realized that, she's putting on a front and he's trying to help her now. And I think that's the direction it took because I did think it was going to be like, oh, actually, I love you. But now it's like, you helped me try to
I,
fix myself. But now I know I just have to be myself and I want you to be yourself too.
I think I had that exact thought. I thought that she felt like she was kind of like whenever you have a strong opinion on something
Hmm
and then someone comes or maybe like something that you're not comfortable with talking about, right? And then
hmm
a close friend brings it up to you, you kind of go on the defensive, right? That's exactly what she did. She like he brought up something that she was insecure about,
hmm
right? Which was the fact that she's fake as fuck.
hmm
And she got taken aback by that and was like, "Whoa, who are you to come at me?" Basically, we're no longer friends,
hmm
right? Even though he had good intentions, she didn't want to hear all that. She was like, "I want nothing to do with you anymore because you're going to try to help me." and I don't want to be helped because I've worked so hard at this facade that I'm putting on
Mhm.
that stopping it now would be almost like I worked for nothing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I do think that blue hair girl is the main girl for me, at least. Like,
Yeah, I can agree. But like, she needs some more character development. She needs more time.
yeah, I feel like some of the arcs they're not necessarily like oh my god amazing, but it's not bad to
Mhm.
watch. I think it's definitely better than Horimiya in my opinion.
Oh, you said blue hair girl is best girl?
Hmm The
The
one who
one that
tried to
calls him
beat her.
brain? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Really?
Yeah, and I think the show is going in a really good direction. There's only one more episode. I heard there's light novels. There's no manga for it, but there's light novels, and from the people who did read it, they said it gets really good. Like it develops into a story that's more interesting, especially because I like these character developments, and I think the main character has some sort of like redemption. You know what I mean? Like he's going from this loner video game kid, and now he's trying to like fix himself, you know what I mean? Trying to become a person or be who he wants to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he wants to have. Yeah, okay, so I think what he's done is he's gotten to
Hmm
the point where he knows the basics of this quote unquote game called life, right?
hmm
And now that he knows the basics, he's going to put his own spin on it, right? So like now that he knows the controls per se, now he can put his own style into his whatever the game, right? His own style, his own flair, right? Because like and he's decided that that own style that he's going to go for is being himself with like with knowing the controls of the game, so now he can play on par with other people just with a
hmm
different strategy, if I'm going to use their terminology.
Yeah.
Also, no homo, but I think Shuji is best girl.
Anyways, I really like the theme though,
I
honestly.
ship
Like
them.
I like the theme where it's coming from like someone who wants to fit in and by being yourself, that's enough. I like
At
that theme a
first,
lot.
I don't know why, but the entire time I was watching this series
Hmm
is I just kept on thinking it's you know how they keep on bringing up. Did you read a de-geekifying book or something like that? You know how they say that,
Mm.
right? When the sister was like, "Did you read like a de-geekifying book
Mm.
or
Okay.
something?" And then like another character ends up saying that. I think it's Takahiro.
hmm
Uh, and he was like, "Oh no, no." I think this whole show is a de-geekifying tutorial.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, like almost like you can take a bit out of each episode if you're like socially awkward or whatever. You can
Yeah,
take a
and
bit
you
out
can
of
apply it
each
to your
each.
own self.
You
Yeah.
can apply, yeah, you can apply it to your own self to like easily be have an easier time in public.
Yeah, if there's
Uh,
anybody watching this who feels that way, who feels like they're socially awkward or anything, like if you set those goals, just like in the show, like
mhm.
today I'm gonna talk to three people, today I'm gonna give out two compliments, stuff like
and
that.
and it does get a
Hmm
bit easier each time. Like I think that this show is actually just a tutorial. It's a
Yeah, it's
tutorial
it's
on.
not bad. It's not doing a bad job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not like a something that wouldn't apply to. I can't really think of anything that I'd be like, no, that wouldn't really apply to real life.
Yeah. Well, my
I think it.
predictions for this, like where I think it's going forward, I really hope that eventually he helps her with her issue and like they get together. I think that would be a good ending. I don't know. Definitely not in this first season, unless maybe it will next episode. I don't know. I don't think there's enough time to flesh it out though.
Yeah. Uh, while I'm going through, I'm kind of updating my anime list.
Yeah, what do you think is gonna happen, or what would you think you'd like to happen?
Okay, what I think's gonna happen. Same thing I thought was going to happen with quintessential quintuplets. Even though Hinami's not best girl, he's gonna end up with Hinami. Let's be honest.
That's what I hope too. But
and
some of these animes these days are going in different directions. Like I don't know.
mhm. And then what I hope for is that, all right, this would be a more wholesome ending. All right, I'm making this up on the spot. Uh, I think that he gets together. He ends up dating one of the other characters, right? Whether it be
Mhm.
Fuka or Minami, um, and in that respect, but he patches up his relationship and helps out Hisaka, right? Is that her name?
Blue hair girl?
Hinami. I mean,
Hinami.
he helps
Yeah.
out Hinami to start being herself. They become good friends, not dating, but good
Mhm.
friends. And then he dates one of the other girls. And actually, now I'm rooting for Minami because if he dates Minami, then that will be that one thing that Minami has that beats Hinami.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like that ending too, honestly, where it becomes
Yeah.
like a wholesome end, and it's
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
first
where it's
girl.
like,
Mhm.
there's still friends and he helps her out still, so we get
Mhm.
that closure, right? He helps her out, they become friends. Um and then he ends up dating Minami and it doesn't have to they don't have to like delve into it too much. They can just be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, like they're dating now."
we
Like a
could
flash forward.
we could call that first girl method, where the character ends up with the first girl he meets, and we hope it
The
doesn't end that
first
way.
yeah, the first girl, I don't know about method, but about first girl formula. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that.
formula, I like that too.
Yeah. First girl formula that animes like to just kind of dribble in there.
All right,
uh,
all right. Let's move it forward. Number 14, Cells at Work Code Black. I have not seen any of it, and I don't think
I
I
haven't.
will.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it. Dude. I think it's interesting. I do.
I think it's a cool genre. It's a cool like concept,
Yeah,
but
it's a
it's
cool
just not
genre.
my thing.
It's like okay, so it's like what I find interesting about Doctor Stone, but it takes it way too far, and I don't.
It's just a different
I don't really
subject.
care.
It's like the medical stuff,
Yeah.
but it's just not my thing. It's not really my cup of tea.
I definitely thought it was interesting. Like the first season, I watched like half
Mhm.
of it, and it was pretty good. But it'd be something. All right, this is where I think that it could shine. This is gonna sound weird. If fucking, like whenever back in high school, whenever they used to play movies for you,
Mhm.
and it was always like an educational thing or some shit. It's just
Mhm.
if they played that in school, hell yeah, I would watch that all day long in school.
Yeah.
Like in biology, they're like, we're just gonna watch a movie today. They put on like an episode, like a couple episodes of Cells at Work. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool.
But other than that, no.
Yeah, watching anime at
Anyways,
school, but damn. All right. Anyways, we both don't have any knowledge on number 14, Cells at Work, so we're going straight to number 15, Kimono Jihin. I'm actually like halfway through this one.
really, I've
Yeah.
been hearing. I haven't watched any of it, but I have been hearing on the TikToks that it's trash. I don't know. You tell me.
So I went in blind, right? I didn't know anything about it. Watched the first episode. It caught me. And then going a few episodes deep, it's not bad. It has kind of like I don't want to say Naruto because it's nothing like it, but it has that kind of formula where there's like three people. You know what I mean?
Is one of them trash?
No, not really. Like, it's just, I feel like stuff like this has kind of been done in a way before. I mean, the whole genre and theme is it's pretty, I don't want to say genre. I want, the story's fresh. The story's fresh. It's new. It's different. It's not bad. It's just like, it's not too slow either. It's actually really interesting. It's just one of those I'm gonna have to watch after I watch what I want to watch. You know what I mean?
All right,
It's worth a watch. It's worth to check it out. It's interesting. It's pretty cool. Some of the
really.
shit. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
let me look this up. It's called Kimono Jihin. It's not rated very well. Um,
I mean, it has a
It's got a
7.54.
it's looking the animation kind
Mm-hmm.
of looks a lot like Seven Deadly Sins.
I don't think so.
Well,
Well, when
from
you
what I'm
watch it,
seeing
it'll
on
be
the
a little
cover.
different.
Oh, okay. From what I'm seeing on the cover, it looks kind of like Seven Deadly Sins. But what is it about? Hold on, let's see. Detective. Yeah, I read this whenever it came out to see if I wanted to delve into it, and it just didn't seem like it interested me.
Yeah, so I think reading some of the reviews, like I do think it's overlooked, and because there's so much good stuff this season, it's getting underrated, and it kind of is a hidden gem. It's like a darker shonen. I do agree with that. It's a darker shonen.
For real? Huh.
Yeah, and someone pointed out that it has similar qualities to Demon Slayer, so I do agree with that actually. Going in blind, it's pretty interesting.
I'll put it on my plan to watch. I'll get around to it.
Yeah, giving a brief synopsis. I don't want to spoil too much, but essentially, there's a detective from a supernatural agency. He goes out to investigate the supernatural occurrence in this village,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
anything more would kind of be spoiler. Well, not really.
well, tell me what like stands out with it. Is it the animation? Is it the comedy?
The animation's
Is it the
pretty good,
story?
and animation's pretty good. The sound's pretty good. The story is interesting. There's some hooks, like there's some mysteries in it that I want to know what happens, or I want to know like what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, it's a supernatural agency. There's a detective, and he lives with three kids who help him with shit. And kimono is like demons or like beast entities, kind of a way. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they're all kimonos. They're all like half
Do they
monsters.
have like? Oh, they're all half monsters, so they have
Hmm.
like specific powers. Is it
Yep.
okay? It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Uh,
And their whole thing is just like they pick up jobs and
Action,
they
mystery,
go out.
demon, supernatural shonen.
No?
Rated R, 17 and up. Violence and
Yeah,
profanity.
there's violence and there's profanity.
Huh.
So
Well, I'll definitely take a look at it.
yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
I got it on my plan to watch. I'll get around to it. I'm sure there'll be a time again when I'm out of shit to watch. Actually, there's been a couple times these past week that
Mm.
I've been like, man, I really wish I had something to watch. I actually picked up uh My Romantic Comedy Snafu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked that up finally. I know
How deep are you in?
like 5, 6 episodes.
Because I picked that up too, and I finished it like in maybe 3 or 4 days. And then I
Like
went to go read all the manga. Like not the first season, like all three seasons.
oh wow,
Every
I'm
season's a
not.
different genre.
I've picked it up like 3 times over, and I keep on getting like maybe 4 episodes in and being like, nah, not for me.
I think the first season is just kind of like your normal anime, like trying to be funny comedy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then your second season is like roller coaster drama. Like it's drama straight across the board where the characters develop, they try to change themselves. And then season three is your straight romance. Like it's a really satisfying watch in that case. Like you're going through the motions, like your first season. So like just like Clanad, right? Clanad one is like this drama, like supernatural thing, and then your second season is just like real life drama, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I guess if I look at it, will I get the same effect? Okay, let's be honest.
Mhm.
Clannad one, awful. Just Clannad basic. I hated it. It was awful. But
Mhm.
it was necessary to watch in order to get the full effect of the amazingness that is Clannad After Story.
Mhm.
It was necessary that you watch Clannad before Clannad After Story in order to get the effects of Clannad
Mhm.
After Story. But that's because the reason Clannad was so bad was because it was only character development. But
Mhm.
you by the end of Clannad, you knew the ins and outs of every single character. All right, you knew
Yeah.
them through and through. Like you felt for the character, even though it was a struggle to get through. You knew the character, and
Yeah.
because of it being that way, and because Clannad was trash, it made it to where Clannad After Story could be amazing
Yeah.
because you know these characters through and through, and you suffer through all that boringness of just straight character development. Now that shit's happening to each character, you're like, oh my gosh, this is this like you really feel it. And if anyone has started Clannad and then quit on it because you couldn't get through it, struggle through it. Just trust me on this one. You have to struggle through Clannad to get to the amazingness that is Clannad After Story. And don't skip Clannad to get to Clannad After Story. It won't be the same.
Yeah. That's what I tell you too. Like power through season 1, get to season 2, and like if season 2 leaves you with that feeling like you're gonna have that feeling where you're like, I have to watch season 3 now. And then when you watch it, it's a really satisfying ride.
All right.
It's not the
I mean, like
same
I'm working
depth.
through it.
It's not the same depth as After Story because nothing kind of compares to After Story. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it still is a pretty satisfying journey with all the
I
characters.
I remember this really embarrassing. There was a really embarrassing thing that happened to me. It way back whenever I was first starting to watch anime. So like I said that I started watching anime
Mhm.
around my junior senior year of high school. That's not particularly true. That's when I actually started watching anime. I had watched anime prior to that, right? Like here and there. And so like I don't know, I feel like it was junior high or maybe freshman year.
Mhm.
I that was around the time when I watched Clannad and Clannad
Mhm.
After Story. And I was I was sitting in my room, and I think it was my dad busted in and was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, I it was one of those shocks. I was one of those emotional scenes, so I was like teary eyed. He's
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And then he comes up and looks, and he just sees anime girls with like giant eyes. You know the animation; it's very
Yeah, yeah,
stereotypical anime in Clannad After Story. And the guy and like, he just the disappointment on his face in that moment. I was just like.
yeah.
like I could like, there's no I I mean like it's burned into my memory his facial expression. He didn't say a word either. He
Just
just
walked away.
walked out. He just looked at me and then shook his head and then walked out. I was like, ah. I mean, I already got tears in my eyes because of
Yeah.
the story I'm watching, and now I'm just like I'm sad because of this. I'm like teary eyed because of the
And
story,
now
and now
you're
I'm like
disappointment.
embarrassed. It was awful. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah, yeah, that's a little funny story to end off on.
Yeah. Well, this has been an episode of Culture Cafe. Uh, we'll see if the schedule will remain as a weekly kind of update and review of the last week of anime and the anime world, whatever news that comes out for it. And yeah, we'll keep you posted. Look ahead. Demon Slayer movies coming to US. The Blu-ray release is coming pretty soon as well. So if you get your Blu-ray players ready, I guess. And next week is the season finale for most shows that are airing right now. So we'll make sure to give you guys a good review on that and everything. And this has been, Culture Cafe. It's your host Ryu and your host.
Chandler, and I really appreciate anyone that stopped by and took the time to actually listen to our nonsense. I really hope I'll see y'all next time, or I'll be able to. You'll be listening to me next time. Uh, and y'all have a great rest of y'all's nights or days or whatever time it is, wherever you are, and keep watching anime. I hope you enjoyed it here at Culture Cafe.
Once again, our sponsors for this episode is Crystal Gravy, crystal clear, crystal good for your gut, and Pod Central. make sure you check those guys out, and we really appreciate their sponsor for this episode. So
It's
that's
really
it.
cool.
That's all we got. Catch you on the
I'll
flip
see ya.
side.
Yep.